The next morning, the little dinosaurs and Krusty explored the top room of the shack. The Chomper found the bed. The box for Dipper's water bed was put underneath. Littlefoot could see ocean from a top window. Guys, we should swim in the ocean to find a place called Port Arthur. And there's a route that leads us to a cave, said Littlefoot. That'll be the last place to go to. Then we should head for home, said Sir. Last swim, then find a ride. I saw Bertie resting in a shed. I visited him a minute ago. See, we were exploring Port Arthur as you planned the last stretch, said Krusty. We were thinking that Bertie should meet us at the cave, said Dink. I moved away, said Dipper. I've seen it before. He left. He left the shack and walked towards the ocean. Once they were all in the water, he followed Dipper, finding a beach just after a lighthouse. One thing they were to do is hug the coast so they wouldn't get lost. In the open water, you should stay on course, said Dipper. You can breathe underwater, and so can Krusty, but we couldn't, said Amber. I see something white. Yes, that's Port Arthur Castle. We're getting close, called Flapper. The group swam in the right direction, swimming towards a beach with a group behind it. The rest of the way was walking. Here we are. The cave, said Littlefoot. We can see a blue pool happening too. Oh! Suddenly we heard someone calling. Hey! There's someone calling us, said Scud. Where is it coming from? Asked Chopper. It's coming from that gorge. Let's check it out. So they did. It came to the gorge, coming to a shocking sight. Oh, gosh, golly, he cried. It was the same engine that met them back in the prehistoric times. With Georgie Wood at a bad angle on his right side. Was that you making that call? Asked Littlefoot. Of course it was me. Don't stand there looking. Get me back on the line. I'm getting help. Said Georgie, rather agitated. I know who can help. Flapper went back to the Cradle Valley. He came back with Grandpa Longneck. Work started with putting the Georgie upright before he could get lifted out. Once that was done, the big Longneck lifted him by the cab. He was back on the line, but was dented so he had to push him all the way to Teller. What happened to you? Asked Stink. My driver fell off the footplate during my visit to a cliff. With the wind, I couldn't stop before falling. Now we've come to a problem. My wheel's dented, said Georgie. That was the first plan in the dream. So they had to find another way to get him to Queen's Town. I finished my teeth work before I made this visit, Georgie added. If we can't push you on rail, we'll need to replace that wheel. I got the toolkit, but there isn't a spare wheel, said Flapper. He wouldn't ride me. Big I am, but he hates being high, said Mr. Longneck. I've got a better idea. We can use a flatbed truck as one in a siding, said Dipple. That will come with us in case one of us need a rest from shifting, said Dink. He started pulling and pushing. The journey wasn't too bad. It was easy with Mr. Longneck's help. He knew a number of hills were to be crossed from them. If anyone were to see them, they'd be speechless. It, whew, watch it! He made it to offer just as Bertie came driving up, followed by Steady Eddie. I was true. You managed a rescue from the cave gorge. By the way, you've done the shift. You've made your legs numb, said he. I'm glad we didn't do it all the way to Tala, said Littlefoot. I was part of the shift with lifting him, said Mr. Longneck. They saw him on the rocks. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for shifting me. Let Mr. Longneck put me in Eddie's chamber. He can do the rest, said Georgie. Once he was hooped, Eddie left, but the small dinosaurs were pleased. They saw he was damaged. Mr. Longneck and Bertie didn't see anything. They knew what they saw and what was to happen. Anything like an engine falling and the covering was unloose. It bothered Bertie as they wanted to rest their numb feet. Huh? Oh, in there! When they got to Queen's Toll, they saw Georgie having the workmen mending what was dented. Who's that man? asked Dink. I believe that's the fat controller Sir Topham had. He's asking him why were the cranes not taking him, said Littlefoot. We've mended your dents and the testing to see if you're working. But who did the rescue? asked the fat controller. If I tell you, sir, you'll have to come with me to where the creatures live, not in this village, said Georgie. He winked at Bertie, giving him the signal to leave. And Bertie winked at Littlefoot in saying he's new to them and his lot. They left Queen's Toll and went finding the Cradle Valley. There, the bus dropped them off, and we walked to the gorge to stop to see with George's steamer. "What are you doing in Tasmania, not extinct?" asked the fat controller. "We were exploring it, sir." Littlefoot explained to him it came from a cave and another in the wood of gum leaves and the inlet parts of Orford, and the history of when one of them was weak, when not lasting from not being in the water, and he had a father with mother, and the rest themselves walking in the human world. With Georgie would meant you to speak to us, her, not in that village we left from, he finished. Now I understand why the kids weren't used. You have been learning a lot of where we humans live, and I was aware of the car accident in Norfolk. It happened to be caused by some hunters who were after you, so as to make animal truths. It's not your fault of trying not to interfere. We were the ones causing it, thanks to a lady who tries to make animal truths, said the fat controller. Cruella de Vil, you too, he went on. "Ow, we haven't seen her, except everyone will call her a gossip bag," said Sir. "You'll be glad to know that I've made an arrangement with putting up this sign. It tells anyone this is your inner land." The fat controller surprised them when he looked at a sign. It said, "Cradle Valley, who of the dinosaurs keep out." "Well, we know Mr. Seahorns. He's a tough one and can stop a criminal," said Littlefoot. "It's my way of thanking you when you did the rescue," said Georgie, before steaming off to his shed. The small dinosaurs walked through the gorge into the familiar hoopland. They decided to play a new game called hide and seek. Sometimes Littlefoot would seek for his friends, and Dink watched for anything or anyone not inside the Cradle Valley. Uh-oh. Hey guys, we got a postman approaching. Good morning. Oh, it's who I gave directions to. Morning, Pat. A package for you. Is that for me? Thanks. I might surprise my friends. Dip had been writing a tale on what was given to him. A book it was, and there were many tales in the prehistoric times. But I mustn't tell you, or I might spoil the next story.